Awesome, very good, guys. Today I'm really excited because I'm going to be sharing with you something that has drastically improved upon my life, especially my business life and my working life. What I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be sharing with you the top tools that I use for working with virtual assistants and outsourcing. I'm going to go through a little PowerPoint style presentation, but then I'm actually going to go down this list of tools and actually show you how I use them. And then we're even going to create a job posting and we're going to try and find a virtual assistant or somebody who can help us with a particular job. And then what you can do is you can just rinse and repeat that. So you'll be able to take that theory and find other people who can help you out. Now, it can be a touchy situation or subject when people hear the word outsourcing. I don't necessarily mean outsourcing to other parts of the world because of a cheaper dollar. What I mean is outsourcing the skill set so that you're not focusing your time on things that you shouldn't be doing. Because as a real estate agent, you guys should be working with buyers and working with sellers in the car, showing property, that sort of thing. So I'm going to do a little presentation first to kind of give you the ideas on how you could use a virtual assistant. And that when I say virtual assistant, I also just mean somebody in your own city that can come into your office. I just mean outsourcing it from your to-do list and putting it onto somebody else's. Let me rewind. Okay, so I'm going to be doing a little PowerPoint on virtual assistants. And what are we going to be covering? It's going to be how to leverage your time and the tools to use. So these are the main tools that I use when working with virtual assistants, and I'll go into detail on how and why for each one. And it works with real staff and it works with virtual assistants as well. So everything I'm covering is for real people in your office, down the street, down the city, or across the world. It works globally, which is awesome. And I really got to caution on something because a lot of people they instantly think of outsourcing and they do it the wrong way. So when people thinking of outside sourcing, um, I don't hire a full-time virtual assistant to do the things you don't know how to do. A virtual assistant should be an extension of you, doing the things you know how to do but are slowing you down, the daily repetitive work. So if you don't know SEO, don't hire a virtual assistant to do search engine optimization. You need to look at the things as if they're projects, take those smaller projects and hire the right people with specialized knowledge on that topic. Um, a lot of people think virtual assistant, they're just going to, oh, I don't know social media, so I'm going to get them to do my social media. That is not the primary use of how and why you should be outsourcing things. You should be outsourcing the things that you know how to do because if a person is doing search engine optimization wrong and you don't know that they're doing it wrong, it actually could really negatively affect you. So if you're going to do that, then you would hire an actual company to help you out, not a virtual assistant. So a virtual assistant is an extension of the things that you know how to do, but just don't have the time for, or you should be doing something else. So it's better to go pay as you go versus keeping somebody busy and messing things up. So that was my first error. When I got my first virtual assistant, I hired one VA whose task was to do everything I threw at her. So I would have her editing my videos, I would have her writing my blogs, I would have her entering details into my database. She was kind of like my go-to for everything. And it kind of worked, but it really didn't because I was paying her an hourly basis around the clock, whether there was jobs or not. And she was kind of sometimes twiddling her thumbs, not knowing what to do next. And also the things that I did have her doing, like video editing, that wasn't her skill set. So it would take her like 4 hours to do something when I could have just found another virtual assistant who is totally skillful in in video editing, and they can do it in an hour or two, right? So what I do now is I have one main VA that I work with, but then I have other virtual assistants who have special skill sets, and I just do a pay-as-you-go model. So what can you outsource? Things like loading your listings, closing files, monthly marketing materials like direct mail, mass email, classified ads, print ads, social media, etc. Feature sheets, cleaning up your database, monthly marketing statistics. So if at the end of every month you had a system where you said, okay, we log into the MLS, we pull off these stats, put together this report. If you had somebody doing that for you, then it would make your job a lot easier to make a video of you sharing those stats or however you want to leverage it. But a lot of people get hung up on things like same thing when I was doing a power of sale tour. Every weekend I would put together a power of sale tour, and it was in the local area of all the homes that were either a power sale, fix and flip, or undervalued property. This was years ago before homes were selling for 400,000 over list price. And so I would have a virtual assistant put together a list of all the power of sales that week, and then I would take that list and go down it and make sure they actually were a deal. So I would get the virtual assistant to do the bulk of the work to get everything in order, and then I would do the cleanup. They can't help you with lead follow-up as far as calling a person in most cities, and especially Canada and the States, you really have to be licensed, so you can't have them doing your lead follow-up. But anything you do from a computer, they can do. So if you're adding people to a drip plan, if you're doing that sort of follow-up, you could have a virtual assistant doing that for you. So I do things like I would take a picture of my lead notes. I would send that to my virtual assistant, and the virtual assistant would add them to my database. They would launch the drip plan. They would set them up on the prospect match to get the homes that fit their criteria, that sort of thing. So in that example, they would set up my ad calls and my follow-up. They would set them up on the buyer alert. If I had open house registrations, I would come back from the weekend after that open house, and I would have a form full of all these people who signed in at the open house. Now, what do you do with that information? Most agents, it ends up just being filed in the nowhere cabinet. They just don't know where it is. It just gets lost. Well, what if you just took a picture of that, sent it to your virtual assistant, and the VA added them to the database and launched the proper follow-up plan? Like the thanks for coming to our open house video gets automatically sent, set them on this drip, as long as they opt into it, that sort of thing. Business cards collected. You guys do a lot of networking. When you go to these events, you just have a pocket full of business cards, but you don't do anything with the business cards because it takes too long for you to type it out into an Excel sheet. So if you just took a photo of all of the business cards, just line them up on a table, um, zoom out a little bit and take a photo, you could have somebody enter that into your database. Contracts, client files, if you trusted a person, you've been working with them a while, you could have them doing that sort of thing. So anything to save you time. So another example of how I was saving time was we would write a blog. So what I did was I had a virtual assistant go to the local newspaper that week, and she would read all of the articles that came out that week in the newspaper. Then she would twist it into a real estate conversation. So our city got a $1 million statue that they put in the front yard. So we typed about how cool is this? Our city now has a $1 million statue. It elevates the image of our city. And what else can you buy in Oshawa for $1 million? And then it had a link to all of the luxury homes for sale. Another example was there was a golf course in Durham region in Pickering that has a golf cart that allows people to drive around. If they're in a wheelchair, they can get in the golf cart, drive around, press a button, it stands them up. They can swing, hit the ball, and sit back down and keep driving. So it allows people who are wheelchair accessible to now golf. So we blogged about that, and she twisted it into a story talking about how cool is it that people who are in Durham region can now golf. And if you're into golfing and you're into real estate, you might be looking for homes for sale that are wheelchair accessible and have ramps. And we got leads that very next day, and it was 24 hours later that we got leads. So she would write all these blogs for me, put them in a Word document, and then I would post the blog. So I wouldn't have her posting my blogs for me. I would be the one posting the blog. So that's just a couple examples to save time. So it's all about saving time. So let's share some of the tools that we use to make this happen. Before you get started, if you're outsourcing anything, you need an email that you send the people to, because you don't want to be sending everything to their email, because what happens if that virtual assistant leaves? Well, they're going to use and go with their own personal email. So you should set up your own email. I use Google. You could just go, this is a link right here. It's called Google Suite or G Suite. It's your own custom Gmail, but branded as your email. So it won't be like Dan Wood at gmail.com. It'll be Dan Wood at danwood.com. You know what I mean? So it doesn't have the Gmail branding in it. And therefore, if that assistant ever leaves or chooses not to be with you anymore, you still have that email that you can give to the next virtual assistant. So before you get started with anything, I definitely suggest you get some sort of virtual assistant email that you started and created and have access to. That way, if they do leave, you still have all of that information intact. Now, you can find virtual assistants at a lot of places. I personally choose Upwork.com, and you can see I've actually hired a lot of people in the past. I've spent well over $10,000 on this website outsourcing different projects and tasks. So we'll go through this, and why don't I post a job looking for a virtual assistant for you? That way you can just pause this video and play along. So you're going to want to go to upwork.com, and it's going to have you sign in and create an account. Now, what job do we want to outsource? There's tons of jobs that you could outsource. I'm going to outsource right now, hypothetically, let's say I need marketing materials made for when I have a brand new listing. So every time you get a listing, you need to make feature sheets, you need to make a blog, you need to make Facebook and Instagram images, you need to make just listed, just sold, open house images. Like you have to make all that stuff eventually. So why not pay a virtual assistant a flat rate to create a template for you? And then after they make that template, every time going forward, you just email them the new photos and description. So let's do that. So let's create a job. I'm going to go to jobs, and I'm going to post a job. So you can hire somebody dedicated for a longer period of time. That would be if you were to hire a full-time person on an hourly basis. For this type of job, it's going to be more of like project work. So only when we get a listing will they need to do that particular task. So I'm going to select this one. You can use previous jobs that you have. I'm going to start from scratch. You can use previous jobs that you've created, but most of you haven't created one, so we'll start one from scratch. You can choose a subcategory. So what skill set are you looking for? Do you need a writer? Look at all these different things you can outsource. There's web-based stuff, IT and networking, database, engineering, design and creative. That's what most of you are going to leverage. So if you need graphic design work done or animation videos done or like voiceovers, writing is another option. So you could have blog writing. So you could get people to help you with writing your blogs. Admin support. That's when you're looking for a personal virtual assistant. So you can just post right in here. In this case, I'm looking for a designer. So I'm going to say I want a designer and I need somebody who's good with graphic design. Now, because I use that as a dropdown, when we post this, it's actually going to notify the graphic designers that there's a new job available. Not all of them, but somehow in the system it notifies somebody because people start applying. Name the job that you're posting. So I need templates. I need templates created, and I already typed out the job for you. So let's go to a Word document and paste it. So I'll read this and zoom in. I need branded marketing materials for my real estate listings and promotions. We'll save them as templates, and going forward, every time I get a new listing, I'll send you the photos, description, and info to be changed. To start, we need to make templates that we are happy with. What I need is a 8.5:11 feature sheet saved as a ping for web and saved as a PDF for print. So I'm being very specific. Examples of ones that I like, and I put a link to images of feature sheets that I like. I attached my logo and a headshot because they're going to need that to create these things. This is dummy text that you can use as a placeholder for future changes on the feature sheet. So on the feature sheet, I need my name, my title, the company, whatever your phone number is, the website, that sort of thing, the property address, all that information is going to get changed. Um, all that information is going to get changed. So they need to make a feature sheet. What else do I need? Well, I also need social media images created. These don't need the details like above, just a tagline. So you know when you have an image on Facebook and Instagram, it's you can't there's a rule that you can't have more than 20% text. So when I have people designing these things, I don't need my logo, my headshot, my company information actually in the photo. I'm going to put all that information in the description. So this is what I need. I need images saved with this tagline, just listed. I need one Facebook page post saved as a ping at that size. I need one Facebook ad as a ping saved at that size. So I'm going to give you guys this text so you can just copy and paste because I'm sure you don't know the different sizes that you need. But wouldn't it be nice when you get a brand new listing that if all you have to do is email somebody the photos, the description, and the property address, 24 hours later, they're going to make you a full set of just listed images that you could post and share on social media. And then if you're doing an open house, you're going to have an open house image made for it. And then when the house actually sells, you're going to have a just sold version because you're going to need all that anyway. So what we do is we just pay for it and have it all done at the forefront, knowing that we're going to need it in a couple weeks or a month later once everything is done. So that's a pretty good example of me describing the job that I need the people to do and providing all the material that I want them to have. You can't just have people blindly do what you want. You literally have to, if you want it done right, you almost have to do it yourself. So I am definitely going to go out of my way to explain in detail the job that I want done, the specifications of the size of the file type, the images that I want them to use. Like, otherwise, they're just making that up. So I'm being very clear. This is the job that I want done. I have to attach all the attachments. So I'll upload. So in this file, it's a listing. So I'm going to put a picture of the house. I'm going to put my logo. I'm going to put I'm going to put all the pictures actually. Bedroom. There's a picture of me right there. So I'm going to give them all the files that they need. So that's being uploaded. I'm actually going to use this on print media. It's actually going to be used on all of it. So that part doesn't matter, but I selected the three because I described in the description the size and type that I needed anyways. Where are you in the life cycle of this project? You have the specifications. How many freelancers do you need for this job? So what I like to do is I'll hire 3 or 4 people all to do the same thing. So I'm going to post this job, 3 or 4 people I'll hire. I'm going to pay them each whatever the rate is, 20 bucks, 30 bucks, 60, whatever the number is. I'm going to pay them all. But what's going to happen is I'm going to find somebody who designs a really good theme and template that I like to keep. And then going forward, I'm just going to keep reusing that same person over. So I'm going to hire more than one, and I'm going to say I need 3 people. It's an ongoing project. And I need a brand designer. What applications should they be good with? So to you personally, it probably doesn't matter. But for me, I would want them saving the file in something that I can edit the file in case there's a minor change that I need to make. So you would search whatever that program is. So for me, it could be Illustrator, Adobe Illustrator, or you might be like, well, I don't know that. I know Photoshop. Adobe Photoshop, or there's like lots of other programs that you guys use for design. So if you have one in particular that you're comfortable with, list that. That way, if they do design a template, you have a template that you can edit going forward easily. So I'm going to say Illustrator because that's the one that I like. Oops. Enter the skills needed. This is so that it alerts the people that have that on their profile. So I need somebody who's good at graphic design, Adobe Illustrator, print design, web design, and print layout. That'll be good for that. How would I like to pay? I like to pay a fixed price. And I'll just put this at, I don't know what your fixed price would be. For something like this, let's just say $30. You're going to pay $30 to have one feature sheet created and just listed, open house, and just sold images made. Experience level. So if you're looking for an expert, you could choose expert, intermediate, or entry level. I already know where most of you are going to default. You're going to go to the entry level just to see what happens. So you could choose, here I'll go middle ground to make everybody happy. So I'm going to go intermediate. I'm only looking for people who are on Upwork. I don't want to find people on other job boards because I pay Upwork and then Upwork takes a percentage and the VA gets paid the remainder. So I'm going to do it that way. If you have a list of virtual assistants that you've already worked with in the past, you can invite them by searching them here, but most of you don't have any, so you'll leave that blank. Preferred qualifications. I kind of leave this one blank myself. You can say, let me see your portfolio, and they'll show you a portfolio, and a lot of them are junk, really. So that's why I'll just hire 3 people, and I'll work with the one that ends up doing the best work. You can have them answer questions. So if you need them to be able to speak perfect English, you could say, I need somebody who's fluent in English, because if you can't communicate with them, then obviously they're not going to be able to understand the job you want to have done. You can include a cover letter or not. If you have yes, require a cover letter, it's canned responses. It's just some made up Word document. It's kind of like a waste of your time, but you could include a cover letter if you wanted. So I'm going to post that job. So here, I just posted the job, so it's now going live and people are going to start applying to it. Now, before you leave this screen, it's really important that you scroll down. Okay, I'm gonna hit got it. So I'm gonna scroll down and look, it's automatically pulled together a list of people that they think would be a good fit. So if you don't do anything, if you just close the browser, people will apply. But if you scroll down and invite, so I can say $15 an hour seems reasonable. You can see where they're working. So the Philippines, they're all over the world. If you only want to support certain areas, you can search that area. So I could say United States, and the filter is updating. So now it's showing me all the people in the United States. So you can search based on where the people are located. I'll remove United States. I can say, I definitely do this one. How much have the people earned in the past? So I definitely want the people to have earned at least $1,000, meaning through Upwork, they have been paid over $1,000, not for one job, but accumulatively. Because if somebody just hops on, they're like they just got out of jail and they're a parolee or something, and they can't get work anywhere else, and then they apply as a virtual assistant to get access to your database. I mean, I want somebody who's been doing it for a while, and an easy way to tell is people who have at least made $1,000, because when you have that as a filter, it shows the people that have at least made $1,000. They have had a success rate of at least 90%. The hourly rate, I can say only the people that are $10 and below, or $10 to $30, 30 to 60, whatever number you're happy with. I'll leave it as any. Hours billed, you can say how many hours, but I'm already doing that based on how much they've earned as a person. English level, so it says any. I'm actually going to say fluent. Freelancer type. Independent, that's when you're working with the person one-on-one. Agency means you're hiring another company and you don't really know who you're working with. So I kind of avoid the agency ones. I always do the independents. Last activity, I want somebody who has at least been active in the last 2 months. I don't want somebody who hasn't been here in like a year. Scrolling down, I can search more categories. So I can say, okay, the designer who is good at graphic design. Okay, so now that I did that filter, and remember I removed United States. So I did that filter, and now it's showing me this guy's earned over $2,000, this guy's earned over 60,000, this person's earned over $500,000. Holy smokes. She's in the United States. She must be good. So you can see, let's check her out. So say I like her because of her stats. She's got a really high, she's earned a lot of money. She's got a 100% success rate. I can just say invite to job. So I'm going to invite to job, send invitation. So what I want you to do is read all of these, go down and invite all of them, all the ones that make sense. So I'll be like, okay, I'm willing for that one, invite to job. If you want to dig a little deeper, you can actually click on that person's profile. So I'm going to go to her profile, and then I can zoom down. I can see she charges $75 an hour. If I scroll to the right, she has 100% job success. She has worked 739 hours. She's done over 1,000 projects, earned over $500,000. Keep scrolling down. This is her reviews, so people give feedback, and it's really important that you read the feedback that people are getting. So I read the feedback about the virtual assistant before I hire them. You could check out their portfolio. She's got a pretty cool portfolio. And then this is like her resume down here. So she's really well decorated actually. And tests. So Upwork actually will test people. So her logo design skill set, she's in the top 10% of all the people that are on Upwork as a freelancer. So there's other tests that you can search. Let me go back and show you the tests. Oh, tests right here. So they moved it, it was up here. So under tests, I could say English. So if I was getting somebody who was going to be doing my blogging, I would just keep typing in English. So I'm going to say I need English who's done the US spelling test, and I need somebody who's at least the top 10%. And then I'll do another test, English. Well, that's cool. You can find people to translate for you. I didn't even think of that. So anyways, you can search people based on the different English ability, and that they have to do a test, and they can cheat at the test, to be honest. I'm sure they can. They probably even outsource other people to take the test for them. But there's millions of people on this platform, so this will just narrow it down so that I'm not searching hundreds of thousands of people. I'm only looking at like a couple hundred people. I'd rather it narrow it down to a few hundred people and then go down the list and invite them all and then see what happens. Maybe 10 or 20 or 100 people reply. Just hire 3 or 4 of them all to do the same job. It's going to cost you a bunch of money. Say it's $20 a pop. So 2, 4, 6, you're going to spend $80 to hire 4 different people, and you only need one job done. But what you've done is you've effectively found somebody who you like their design skill, you like the way they communicated, and now going forward, all you have to do is privately message them and keep sending them more work. So hopefully that shows you, hey, I have a couple things I can outsource. What I want you to do is on a piece of paper, write down all the things that you're doing on a repetitive basis. Like I know when you get a listing, you have to make marketing materials. That's repetitive. So you should start making a template. That way, every time you get a new listing, you can just fire that off to somebody else. Another example, video editing. You shouldn't be doing the video editing yourself unless you're really skilled and enjoy it, because it takes hours and hours and time to master that craft when you can just outsource it. Now, the thing with outsourcing is they're only as good as the material that you give them. So if you're outsourcing video editing and you give them complete trash content, they're not going to be able to create a very good product. So you're actually going to have to give them good footage. You know what I mean? So try and think of all the things that you could start outsourcing and then come to Upwork and hire a couple people. This is, let me show you. Oh, that's that girl. So here's another job that I posted in the past. I said, we would like 13 images made, all with the same theme. It's for Google AdWords in the display network. We would like something like this, and I took a screenshot of what I liked. Um, we can make animated GIFs for that. I can create in Photoshop. I was asking a question, and then I gave the details. I need it as a GIF. I need the file size to be that size or smaller because that's what Google wants. These are the specific sizes that I needed done. And have you ever seen Google ads when they chase you around? Like you go to a website and then tomorrow, everywhere you go online, you see that website advertising. That's Google remarketing. And this is how many images it takes to create a Google remarketing campaign. So imagine you had a brand new listing in your farm area. You could do Google remarketing based on the new listings, and those ads are just going to chase everybody in your farm market. It's brilliant because you're constantly showing them just listed, just sold, just listed, just sold. But are you going to take the time to design this? This guy that I do this job with, it's $5 flat. He can do that in 1 hour, or less than an hour. So I pay him $5 per pop, and he will do that in like a half hour or whatever. But say he does my job and somebody else's job in 1 hour, he's now making $10 an hour, or $15 an hour, or whatever the case is. So it's a win-win for both of us. So that's just another example of how I outsource something. And here's another example of a job that I posted. I said, I have a combination of still images and GoPro videos from our trip. I need you to edit the video so it goes back and forth between the still images and the motion videos. We documented the day and the images, and we need you to create a cool story. I didn't even know how much I was going to pay. I had like 40 people apply to that. I hired 3 of them. I paid $20 each per job. And at the end of it, I had 3 really cool videos that would have taken me a long time to do. So Upwork is my go-to place. Now, once you start working with a virtual assistant on an ongoing basis, you have to coordinate, and even with your own team. So you have to coordinate these different projects. So I really like to use Trello, Trello. It's totally free. It's web-based. It works on PC and it works on Mac. It also is a free app that works on your phone. So this is how I set up my Trello. I have a board on the left. It's for my virtual assistants. And I have my board right here. And then I have future ideas in case I don't know what I want them working on next. So how would you do that? Let's say I go to a conference and I get like 100 business cards that I got from other real estate agents that I'm going to do referral marketing with. Well, I'm going to add a new card. I'm going to call it Icon. Pretend that's the name of the conference. Icon cards. I want to add that as a job. So when I open this up, I can actually type the description of what I want done. I can upload all the files and documents. So if there's photos, logos, video, pictures, Word documents, Excel sheets, whatever I need, I can just hit the attachment button. I can add members. So I can add my virtual assistant to have access to just this board here. And also, if you scroll down, there's a checklist. So I could, if I wanted, create a checklist. I'll show you that in the next step, actually. I won't do that here. So in this job, let's pretend I went to a conference. I need these cards saved as an Excel file. Name, phone, email, brokerage. I need those columns, and you actually need first name and last name. So that's what I need. And then I would attach the Excel file that I want them to update. So I'll hit save. Then, if I'm at this conference, let me just take a Google pile of business cards. Okay, so let's pretend you laid these business cards out in a legible format. So instead of being a big jumbled mess, they were just kind of like squared up one beside each other. You could just take that and then post it onto Trello. So you could literally, because you're using the phone app, Trello works in your phone, I said, you can take a photo of all of the business cards and then just attach it directly from Trello right on your phone. And then what'll happen is you minimize this. They've got the job on their board right here. When they're done that, they can just drag it off, move it over to your board. Therefore, you can check it for quality control or do whatever you have to do. And if there needs to be changes made, you can bring it back and put it to the top of their board. Or if it's done, you can do whatever you have to do, like import it into your database, and then you just hit the archive button. So when I hit archive, you can see this card is now archived and it has disappeared from my board. It's no longer there, but it is still searchable. If I say icon, there's the board right there. So even though it's archived and hidden, it's a way for you to do file management, and all the information for that one particular job is on this. You can have certain team members that have access to it. It is the easiest way to work with a virtual assistant on a project by project basis. Future tasks, that's just where I list future things that I think I might get to in the future, like clean up our database or build a list of sale by owners or get a list of expireds if you can do that, or whatever your future tasks are. You can just start creating a laundry list here. You can even create checklists. So say I had a seller checklist. So I'm going to open up this little board here. It's called seller. I can create a checklist, and I'm going to call this just listed. Now I have a checklist here. So I can have different checklists. I want to add another checklist. So I'm going to say just listed, just sold. So now I have two checklists, but they don't have any items yet. And I'll add another checklist. Checklist. Off market. Okay, so when you get a brand new listing, you have the same series of things you have to do. You have to order the photographer. So I'm going to add an item. I'm going to call it order photographer. And then you could even put the photographer's name and phone number. Add. And then another thing, install lockbox. Add. Order sign. Add. So you can see how you can create this checklist so that when something's done, you can just check things off and it's slowly going to show you what's open and left to do. Therefore, things don't get missed. Because if you have a listing on the market, say you have a buyer set up, they're getting the homes that match their criteria. Then you sell them a home, it's firm, and then 2 weeks later, you forgot that you still have them on the email drip and they're getting listings sent to them, and they get a listing sent to them that they actually like better. Whoops, that's an awkward conversation. So in your checklist, you should have a buyer close checklist so that when a home closes or when you put somebody in contract, on that checklist should be remove buyer from MLS. You know what I mean? So you're going to have whatever your checklist, all of you have different like systems and procedures that you do. But this is so cool. So I could make a template. So I could save this as a template. Then when we get a brand new listing next week, I can come to this little checklist that I have. I'm going to make a copy of it. And I'm going to call it 123 Street, Amy Sellers. So that's the name of the street. That's the name of the seller. What list do I want it to go on to? I'm going to put it on my virtual assistants board, or you could have it as an admin board if you had an admin board. For now, I'll just put it on the VA board. And it's really high priority, so I'm going to put it as priority 1. So when I hit create card, see how it got added here over on the left? So here's an error that most of you are going to make. After you hit the copy button and hit save it, it's going to get saved over here, but you still have this window open. Then you're going to start like checking things off and editing it. you're actually editing the template. So over here, it was my template, and you can see how it's still checked. So whatever changes I make are going to be saved for the future templates. So make a copy of it, close it, and then open it up and start adding all the stuff. So you could add um, the attachment of all the photos of the property. So say your photographer, after you order the photographer, so we check off order the photographer, 24 hours later, that person is going to send you the file. So then I could say add um, add photos to file. So isn't that cool that you could have a checklist going forward and have different team members managing it? This is totally free and it's very organic. You can change things and add things as you go in the future. I 100% love Trello. I love it. I've been using it for years. Um, if you are working with a virtual assistant or anybody, it's really important that you communicate with them and you can try and type things out, or you can take a picture of your screen, or you could record your computer screen. And that is going to save you all the time in the world. So I use this program. It's called Jing. It's totally free. When you install it, it's going to add this little sun to your computer. So here's my sun up here, and I can, let me go back to the Trello actually. So I'm going to choose this crosshair, and I'm going to record. Oh, I knew that would happen. Okay, well, I'm going to record just this piece of the screen. And I know you can't see because I think it's zoomed out for you, but I'm going to hit record. Hit continue. So it's 3, 2, 1. Hey, virtual assistant, what I want you to do is I want you to update this database. So I need you to click on this, and then you're going to see attached. I added all the files to the right. I need you to edit all the this Excel file and add the first name, the last name, the cell phone number, the address, the company that they're at. Once it's done, just drag it off over to my board. So if I stop that video, it made a video for me. By pressing the screen share button at the bottom, it automatically is updating it to the cloud. So I don't have to save this video, edit it, render it, do anything. It automatically put that, so I can just paste it as a comment and hit save. Now they can watch that video. So instead of me having to type out the instructions, I could just record my computer screen and walk them through the process of, okay, today you need to do a mass email to our database, and this is how you do it. You need to show people how to do things. If you hire a real person to work with you in your office, you're expected to train them. So I use Jing to visually show them the tasks that I want them doing. Okay, so Jing, really important tool. It also allows you to take screenshots. So say I want to take a screenshot of the picture. So I'm going to take a picture of it. You can actually draw arrows on the screen now, and then you can type out instructions. So I need you to log in here, and so log in and click this, blah, 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 whatever your instruction is. So you can make visual tutorials showing people log in here, click this, log in there, do that. Because what's going to happen is you're going to fall into this trap, and I still do it today, like I probably did it last week. So this is, I use Skype to communicate with my virtual assistants because it's easier, because not all virtual assistants have a cell phone, but all of them have Skype. So you can get Skype added to your phone for free, and it's not so much for you to call them, but more of the chatting ability. So if I pull up my Skype, so here's my main virtual assistant right here. I love the guy, he's awesome. So you can see I kind of just have an ongoing list of things that we kind of talk about. But can you imagine if that is different jobs? How mixed up and confused are you guys going to get? That is why it is so important for you to use Trello, because you can break it down one job at a time and you can have a conversation based on that one job. Because if you just do it in Skype, it is going to be a long run-on list, and you're going to like be scrolling up for days trying to find out, did I tell him this, or did he ask me such and such, or where did he put the file? With Trello, it is so much more streamlined. And By using that Jing program that allows you to record your computer screen, you can actually make step-by-step documents. So if you hire a virtual assistant, so here's, we need to make a landing page for seller leads. So it's the same process every time. We have to go create the template, we have to edit these logos, we have to change this contact information. It's the same process every time. So when I hired a virtual assistant the first time to do that task, their task wasn't only just to do the landing page, their task was also to document it along the way. That way, if that virtual assistant leaves because they just move on to bigger and better things, now what? They've got all that knowledge of how to do the step-by-step process. But because you had them do a Jing, taking screenshots along the way and documenting it, now you have a Word document for the next virtual assistant who steps in line. So it is really important. I used to use video to create these tutorials, but the problem with video is like, say you're showing somebody how to log into Facebook and do our weekly advertising. Facebook will change their platform and how you do things. So in 2 weeks, a month, or a year, that video is now outdated. So instead of having to remake a whole new video, I can just scroll down to the part that changed and take a new screenshot showing them, oh, this is how you log in now because they changed it. So I like the Word document a lot better than the video, but I still do video quite a bit. Okay, so now if you are working with virtual assistants or anybody, how many usernames and passwords do you have? Too many. You can't even remember them all. So what you guys are doing is you're just using the same username and password for absolutely everything. So you don't want to do that. You want to have a unique username and password, and you don't want to be giving the virtual assistants that username and password. Personally, I do because I fully trust the people I work with, but I know a lot of you are skeptical, and if you don't want to just give somebody your Facebook username and password, then what you're going to have to do is you're going to have to go to LastPass. It's free at a personal level, but they have, if you go to their website for business, LastPass for business, and they have a team option. That allows you to create a dashboard, and you can have like 10 different team members, and they each have different access. So this admin has access to my database, this admin has access to my video editing tools. You can segregate who gets access to what, and they don't actually see the username and password, it just automatically logs them in. It's not 100% safe, but it's a lot safer than what you guys are doing now when you just like Google them or text them the username and password. Because if that person leaves, then you have to go through and change all of your personal usernames and passwords, especially if they become like a crazy person and go and do bad things with your database. You're going to have to go in and log in and change your username and password. Or why don't you just give them access? Because when they log into LastPass, they have one username and password. It's the same username and password that automatically logs them into everything you assign them to. So they don't actually know your username and password for the other stuff, so you don't have to change it. Now, it's not 100%, but it's a lot better than what you guys are doing now. I use it, but I wouldn't hire a person if I didn't trust them to begin with. So it's just like if you hire a person in real time and they're in your office, you're giving them access to things. Like they could turn out flaky and take off and go and like delete your account or something. Like that would be horrible. You can't avoid it. If you're working with people and you're giving them access, once they're logged in, they still have access to that, whatever it is, and they could delete things, change things. So I say take baby steps, do one thing at a time, find a few tasks that you need to outsource, and just work on getting that refined, and then start outsourcing more things in the future. Here's an example of outsourcing that I did. I use Upwork, but sometimes I use Fiverr. Fiverr is like the Wild West. It is so cheap, it's $5. You kind of get what you pay for. Um, so Fiverr is kind of a funny place, but I'm going to show you the process. So I paid this girl $14. Why did I pay her 14? Oh, so I paid her $6.59 to do a voiceover, but I needed it for commercial purposes, so I paid an additional $6.59. So it came to $14. So if I scroll down, this is what I had her create. I typed this up. Oh, let me scroll up. So I said, she says, please send me your script. So here's the script. I typed out this script. I said, that's the script that I gave her, and I needed her to make a voiceover of her reading that. So here it is here.
Our real estate office is looking to attract, train, and expand on local talent. So if you know anyone thinking of switching brokerages, we would love to at least sit down confidentially and share our business model, the company culture, and systems to make them love the business they are in. Please invite them to our ongoing coaching program below and to contact us confidentially today. Text, call, or email us anytime. We are actively growing and intentionally looking for more talent.
So personally, I partner with brokerages and I help them with their training, and I made that as an animated video that they can use. So I needed a voiceover and I didn't want my voice, so I outsourced this. That was cost $14. Sounded great. Then I took that audio file and I sent it to another virtual assistant who made an animated video. So watch this animated video using the same script.
Our real estate office is looking to attract, train, and expand on local talent. So if you know anyone thinking of switching brokerages, we would love to at least sit down confidentially and share our business model, the company culture, and systems to make them love the business they are in. Please invite them to our ongoing coaching program below and to contact us confidentially today. Text, call, or email us anytime. We are actively growing and intentionally looking for more talent.
Wasn't that cool? So that cost me $20. So it cost me $14 for the voiceover. Then I took that voiceover file, sent it to another virtual assistant who is good at doing animated videos. Cost me $20. They made that really cool animated video. And then after I had that video, I sent it to my main virtual assistant, who added that to my group coaching program, and we put it over here on the right. So you can see how the power of outsourcing. So I spend most of my time, I'll spend about an hour of my day setting up the tasks for my VAs for tomorrow. So you can turn 1 hour of your time into like 4 hours of other people doing the work. So like video editing takes a couple hours. Or you could take the time to describe what you want in 20 minutes, send it to a person, and then get it turned around. So this is the power of outsourcing, not so much outsourcing around the world. I mean, support your local economy, support the locals where you are. Just outsource the talent. You don't need to be the one doing everything. So I really hope this webinar shared with you some examples and inspiration on how and why, plus the tools that I use. Obviously, you're going to fail your way forward. You're going to finish this video, and then you're going to be like, oh, Trello is so cool, I'm going to create an account. You're going to have a blank canvas, and then you're like, well, what do I do now? Play with it. Just add a board, add some tasks, and just play with it and see how it works for you, and create your own system on how things are done for you and your team. So this video is going to be uploaded. I'm going to give you guys all of the content. I'm even going to give you that job description that I posted on Upwork. You guys are going to get that so that you can post it and find your own virtual assistants. And I really appreciate you guys being with me. We're going to be back in 2 weeks. The date and time is going to get updated, and you'll get alerted when this recording is done. So it'll be in like a day or two. You'll get that, and every 2 weeks we'll be together. So I appreciate it, guys. I'll end the video now, but I'm going to stay in case any of you have questions. So if you have questions, you can chat them. Questions so far: do they offer converting talk to text for video? Do you mean like captioning? Like adding the caption of the... Yes. Oh yeah, you can outsource anything. Anything you can do from a computer. So if I wanted that, if I go to Upwork, let me go here, find freelancer. Uh, so this person does transcriptions, proofreading, data entry, and video captions. So I literally just typed in the Google search of the task that I wanted done, and I don't know how many people it came up with. Before it used to show you like 100. Well, anyways, look, there's like 5 pages. 8 pages. I bet there's like hundreds of pages of these people. So yes, you totally can. I'm not the best prospector. Do you recommend outsourcing prospecting? I do, with caution. You can't have somebody in most areas call and talk about real estate. So if I had a person call a FSBO for sale by owner and start talking about that, I would get sued. Not by the FSBO, but by our local authority. So you could have a virtual assistant who does cold calling for you based on a webinar. Say you have a seminar, a home buying seminar, a home selling seminar, a real estate investing seminar, that sort of thing. It could be either live at your office or at a venue or an online webinar. You could have that person cold calling people and inviting them to that for sure. That's one form of outsourcing cold calling. A bunch of questions. Okay, I had Trello a while ago. Is there a mobile app that you recommend? I'm looking at the apps and there are four to choose from. Okay, if you have four to choose from in the apps, it would be the main one by Trello. Um, Hold on. So I just Google search Trello app and apps and platforms. So if you just Google search on your phone, Trello app, they have a link, trello.com/platforms, and you'll choose either the Apple Store or Google Play, and then that will be the right one. Because I'm not looking at your screen, I don't know. Hey Dan, you created quite a few tasks on your Trello board. Are the jobs that you've already gotten quotes for? I actually am not showing you my main Trello board. My main Trello board is a complete disaster because I have so many jobs on the go. And it shows other people's information, like what they're paying, other clients, their name, their phone number, their email, their branding, their company they're at. So I can't show you that. Um, but yeah, so what I did show you was a clean slate, and this is basically the setup that I have, and you can add as many cards as you want. And then, so what's going to happen is, this is my main board that I have the virtual assistants working on those tasks. When those tasks are done, the VA should move it over to my board. That way I can close it, because I have to quality check, do whatever I have to do. Once it's done, I'll either archive it or there's another board that I make. It's called Needs More. And you can move these lists around too. So I could say needs more, I want in between. So say my virtual assistant did the job, but we're still missing something, like we're missing a video or we're missing the photography or we're missing something, then we'll drag it off to needs more because we know it can't move forward until we have the next step. And the only not all the VAs that I work with have access to my Trello. To be honest, only three of them do. And right now I'm only working with one that I on an ongoing basis. So most of the other VAs, it's all done through Upwork, and I'll just hire them one job at a time. The reason I use Trello is for my main VA who isn't working on a task by task basis, but more of an hourly thing, then that's why I use Trello. Hey, thanks. Think it would be beneficial if I had it on my Mac, iPad, and iPhone? I have it on everything because, yeah, totally. Absolutely. I can show you my boards. I have a lot of different boards. So I have, um, this is my main board that I work with, but I have a bucket list of all the bucket list ideas that I want to do in my life and achieve. I have rentals, so I have rental properties, so I have one just for my rental property. So you can have different boards based on different things that you focus on as well. Oh, good question. How do you keep track of the time your VAs spend and how do you pay them? Okay, so when I'm working with a virtual assistant, um, Upwork, I pay them through Upwork. So you're either going to, when I posted that job, I said I'm paying a flat rate or hourly. If it was a flat rate, then they'll do the job. And if you agree with the job is good work and everything, then you'll close the job and you'll pay them and you'll pay Upwork. Upwork takes a percentage and then pays the VA. And to you, it's a 100% marketing write off. It's in US funds. So there's a lot of Americans on this call, so that part don't matter, but there's also a bunch of Canadians, so you're going to be paying about 30% more. And then how does it track the time? So say you're paying somebody on an hourly basis, it actually has a report that shows you a weekly summary, and it takes screenshots. Because I had one girl who was getting paid hourly, and when you look at her screenshots, she would log into Upwork and just let it sit idle. And then it would like, she'd rack up like whatever she was getting paid per hour, but she actually wasn't doing anything. She just logged into Upwork and it started tracking the time. So it will actually take screenshots and monitor the keyboard and mouse activity. And I don't know if I can show you. I don't actually go to this. So you don't have to worry. I never even check up on you. I trust you. But if I go here, let's see what it does. So he took a picture. Oh, he's actually on the webinar and it took a screenshot of the webinar. That's funny. Okay, so anyways, it actually will take a detailed screenshot, and I can look at it on a weekly scale, and I'll know if the person. I really know that they're working because the work is getting done. So that's how I track it. I don't actually micromanage, but you can be a creepo and see that they're actually working or not. But I just know that they're working because work's getting done. Yeah. Okay, I think that's it for questions. Any more questions?
Hey, if you want to close more real estate transactions, get more buyer leads, and get more seller leads, click this button right here. It'll take you to our real estate group coaching page. Also, if you like this video and want more, you can subscribe by pressing this, or you can check out some of my past videos here. Enjoy!